Hi guys, welcome back to Hair Dry Treatment with me, Sophie. Thank you all for tuning in. I can see already people are saying score predictions. So obviously Man United are playing tonight. 2-0 prediction coming straight away there. I know it sounds a bit bad, but it's a nothing game, isn't it, really, for United tonight? To be honest, I'm losing my patience more and more. I was well up for the game the other night against Brighton and it just let me down again. I'm feeling really disheartened about United at the minute. Something's got to change. Players don't look bothered. It was like a training game. Let's hope they're saving it all for the FA Cup final. Champions League football for next year is obviously secured. So it's a bit of a nothing game again tonight. But you know what? Let's do it for Fergie tonight, if anything. Let's get a result for Fergie. And I want to start on that really. Obviously, Sir Alex Ferguson, really sad news was coming in last week about his illness and him being in hospital. But positive news that come out from Man United release yesterday. I was waiting and holding fire before I mentioned it because I wanted it to come from a reliable source. And Sir Alex Ferguson is now in a much more stable condition. So absolutely fantastic news. And you know what? Like I said, the players tonight should be wanting to put in a performance for him more than anything. He's such an inspiration. The support on Twitter for him was absolutely fantastic. It touched the hearts of so many, whether you're from a rival club or what. For me, Sir Alex Ferguson, he was the reason why I got into football in the first place, the style of football that he played for United. And his whole attitude and persona in the game is a well-respected figure, obviously, so fantastic news there. Hi Nikki, thank you for tuning in. But as a few have already mentioned, yes, Man United against West Ham are playing tonight. I will ask for score predictions at the end of this. So yeah, thanks Sophie, I love your hair, thank you, that's really kind of you. Actually, one of my students who is going to go on to do hair at college, he did it for me today, so he did a good job, didn't he? Well done, Luke. It'd be a good game to get the bosses on the mend. I agree with that completely. Let's put in a performance for him. Right, talking points. Wayne Rooney today is obviously he's agreed a deal to go to DC. He's going to play in the MLS. As so many people predicted. Hi Kaylee. So many people predicted that he'd be going to play in the MLS. That's been confirmed today. A £12 million move. How do you guys feel about that? For me, I thought it was destined to happen. Really, Wayne Rooney was bound to go to the MLS. People thought he was past it at United. He was really. I love Rooney, but he was past it. His legs were going. He went to Everton, which was like the idyllic move. Obviously, he loves Everton. And now he's gone to DC. So, someone just said there, I'm in the DC metro area, so happy. He's great for the MLS, isn't he? I think it's going to move for him and for his family as well. I'd rather him go there than to China, for example. Yes, Sander, tattoo on my shoulder. Yeah, thank you. No place for the Premier League. Yeah, that's where he seemed to struggle at United. His legs had seemed to gone. There's no doubt that he's still got the ability, he's still got the vision. But yeah, his legs just couldn't do it anymore in the Premier League. I agree with that, and I think the MLS will be well suited to him. So he'll be out enjoying the sun, family out in America, living the dream. And fair play, I think it's a good move for him, and I think it's the right move as well at this stage in his career. I think it's right. Thoughts on Sanchez starting? We gave Martial a chance in the last game. Didn't really do anything, but as a team we were absolutely shocking. I think he'll go back to the usual tonight. I think Sanchez will get back in the starting lineup. It's kind of a Jose Mourinho, I told you so, wasn't it, after the game against Brighton, saying maybe people will stop questioning his decisions even more. I have noticed, don't worry, today, squad are true. Yeah, I'd like to say about that really. I'd be really shocked if Jose does put Chong in the squad. Doesn't really seem like he's started to do that, but it'd be fantastic if he does. But in terms of Sanchez, I think he'll start tonight. I think Jose will want to prove a point and he'll shove him straight back in. And if we win, I'll say it's all down to his decision. That would not surprise me at all. Fellaini, still at the moment discussing contracts with United. United fans, how do you all feel about that? I know how I feel about it. Nobody should hold the club to ransom, especially someone called Marouane Fellaini, who quite frankly I feel I'm a better holding midfielder than him, and I'm not even joking. The fact that he's holding the club to ransom, I think it's absolutely appalling. And the fact that Jose Mourinho has been begging him to stay as well. It's just a really embarrassing situation for the whole club. Don't get me wrong, Fellaini I think is really effective. Coming off the bench and playing further forward though and causing a nightmare for defensive. Not playing him as a holding midfielder like Jose seems to do. It baffles me, it really does. And for the state of our club, for Jose to come out and to be begging him and him to be able to discuss contracts and run it till the end, I think it's a really embarrassing situation for everyone. But he's still doing it, and I'm sure, you know what, if Jose manages to wrangle it and Fellaini gets a new contract, I'm pretty sure that United fans will back him, of course, because he's wearing a red United shirt. However, this whole situation for me, I think he needs to go. I really do. English AS in a week, bricking it. Oh, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. You'll pass it with flying colours, I'm sure, Sander. You know where I am if I need any help. Can't promise I'll give you that much good advice, but I'll give it a go. You know what? Let's switch from United for a second and let's talk about Conte. Good result for United fans yesterday, however. 1-1, Huddersfield. But how do you guys feel about it? Conte, will he be the Chelsea manager next year? Or will he get sacked? Or will he leave? What do you think about that? Personally, I think it'll be a mixture of the two. I think he'll get sacked and he'll walk at the same time. I think it'll be a decision on both behalves. But for me, he's gone. I can't see Conte at Chelsea next season. Something's obviously majorly gone wrong there in terms of you can't win the league one season and be as poor as they have been this season. So I think he will walk with a bit of pushing from the club, let's say it that way. Conte to Arsenal. I don't think Arsenal fans would be happy with that. Who do you think's going to replace Wenger though? Obviously that's all done now. He's a gooner, says Rodney. He's a goner or a gooner. It's interesting, isn't it? Who do you think's going to, in all seriousness though, Wenger is gone. Do you think, I mean, there's rumours obviously Juventus manager coming in there and taking over. Simeone is another name that's been battered about to Arsenal. Moyes there. Brendan Rodgers was another one. Obviously Liverpool's assistant was another one. Who do you genuinely believe can take over from Arsene Wenger at Arsenal? So Alex Ferguson, I touched on at the start, sent best wishes to him, and it's looking far more positive in terms of him. Brendan Rodgers all day, says Albert Trotter. Enrique there. Me, I wouldn't want to take over Arsenal, no chance. Who do I think would take over? Looks like Chelsea are missing out on Champions League. Yes, Chelsea going to the Europa League. I read something really funny earlier. It said Giroud has left the Europa League to go and play in the Europa League, which made me laugh. DT wanted Wenger out, and now he's even asking who'd take over. He had a picture of him yesterday as well, didn't he? Which made me laugh. Moyes and Fellaini as his assistants. Yeah, I think Enrique would be the one that I think I could see at Arsenal next season. Alan Pardew was mentioned there. Who knows? Who knows? There's plenty of options out there for sure. Peace, Arsenal Fan TV. Very funny. You never know, because Arsenal fans will start ripping into the next manager, because let's face it, there's a lot of issues there beyond the manager at Arsenal. They definitely need to strengthen their club in order to progress. So who knows, Arsenal Fan TV may still be in business. PSG manager is a good shout. Just came back from my granddad's funeral. I'm really sorry to hear about that Hardeep. I hope everything went as well as it possibly can. Yeah, I'm really sorry to hear that. Thank you for tuning in, especially in these circumstances. Score predictions tonight. Like I've just said, it's a bit of a nothing game really, but I think Jose will put a strong team out and we'll win tonight, and it'll be like I told you so to all those fans who wanted Martial to start and Rashford to start and we lost. I think he'll put a team out. I think Sanchez will start tonight, and I'm going to go with a 3-1 United win. I think West Ham will already be on the beach. They haven't really got anything to play for, they're safe. So for me, I'm going to go with a 3-1 United win. I know we're away, but I can still see us winning there. No, I wouldn't, Lynn. Relegation and who's going down? West Brom are obviously gone. A lot of my friends are West Bromwich Albion fans. Had a good old laugh at them, especially for ripping me when we lost to West Brom the other week. So Baggies are down. Stoke are down, 2 local teams to me, but Wolves are going up obviously, which is fantastic. However, I must admit I did want to see the Black Country Derby next season. I wanted to see Baggies against Wolves in the Premier League. So I was a bit gutted about that on one hand. However, to see the look on my mates' faces when Baggies went down, it was worth it, to be honest with you. Especially after they beat us. So for me, Swansea will go down. I think, yeah, I agree. Swansea, Baggies and Stoke will be the 3 teams that go down. And for the first time this season, all the teams that got promoted last year have stayed up in all leagues, which I think is fantastic. So it's not like a case of teams going up and going straight back down anymore. They've all stayed up this season in every league. Johnny Evans at United now. After West Brom. I hope he doesn't go to City. I really hope that doesn't happen, because they're after him, weren't they? And so are Arsenal. But I can't see him going back to United either. But he'll have to leave West Brom. He's definitely too good for the Championship, isn't he, Evans? So I think he'll definitely move elsewhere. I just hope it's not to a rival team that he was linked with last season. If Sanchez scores, then it's definitely Martiello. To be honest, I already think it is definitely Martiello. He doesn't look too bothered either. Would you be if you already knew that you were leaving at the end of the season? Mourinho doesn't seem too fazed by it either. I know there's a lot of fans. And you know what, I do see the ability of Martial. However, I'm losing my patience as well because I don't think he's proven himself really over when he has been given a chance. But I don't agree with the treatment of him as well. And I just know that if he goes elsewhere, he's going to be absolutely fantastic. He's going to be a world beater. But for me, he's already out the door. I think he's already gone. So I think whether Sanchez scores or not, I genuinely think Martial is already out that door. I can't see him playing for United next season. I want to see more of Chong and Gomez from the youth setup. What do you think about Rooney? I've already discussed that Rooney going to the MLS. I think it's the right move for him and his family. I wish him all the best, and I think he'll do really well in the MLS league. He's obviously lost pace for the Premier League, but I think he'll be fine in the MLS, and I think, you know what, he's an addition to their league. Fantastic, and I think his family will love it out there, living the dream in America as well. What about managers of the year? Who do you think is going to win that award? My mate Meg asked me to discuss this. We were talking about it at football the other day, actually. I think Pep will get it hands down. Why wouldn't he? He's won the league fantastically, by head and shoulders, really. But I think Pep will win manager of the season. However, Sean Dyche has to get a special mention, surely, with what's happened with him at Burnley, taking him into the Europa League. Absolutely fantastic. But how do you judge manager of the season? Is it judged on who's won the league, or is it judged on progress made, or what you've done with a small squad like Burnley to get them into Europe? What do you think, guys? For me, I think Pep will get it hands down because he's won the league. I think that's the way it works. I think they'll judge it on trophies and success. But I think if you're going on merit and the fact that you've gone with a little budget, a small squad, and the progress made, I think Sean Dyche deserves a special mention. He's done an absolutely fantastic job there at Burnley. He hasn't spent the money Pep has spent. I know he hasn't won the league, but he's got them into Europe, which is a fantastic achievement. Will we see you doing fan cams again? I hope so, Michael. I hope you do. I'd like to definitely get involved more with the fan cams, for sure. If you only could buy 2 players this summer, who would it be? I'd like Fabinho still at United. And I'm going to say Dybala. So Fabinho and Dybala would be my 2 choices. I wanted Griezmann, to be honest with you, but he looks destined to go to Barcelona now, doesn't he? Savic Savic is definitely another one that's battered around as well. It's been a while, so do you think you'd get into the women's new United team? It's hard to say. I'd have to go on trial first. Salford as well have got another team as well, haven't they? So that's interesting. People are asking, are you going to go on trial for Salford? I know nothing about the details, what league they're going to be in or anything like that, but I know they're obviously setting up a team. And it's fantastic news as well that, you know what, teams in Manchester, especially more of them, to compete with Man City because they're dominating at the moment. So fantastic news that they're getting a Salford ladies team as well. Griezmann was never going to join United, says Rodney. It looks that way, doesn't it? Oh, you know what? Last summer I was praying it was going to happen. He was the one player I wanted, especially obviously we having Pogba, they're best friends, and I was thinking, you know what? I would love to see Griezmann at United. Beckham was his idol, United fan. Where's number 7? It's perfect. But now, after he turned us down like that, yeah, I just can't see it happening. I think he'll go to Barcelona, which is a shame. So Dybala really is the next best thing, isn't he? This is a rose tattoo for someone who I lost to represent them. So yeah, just a rose on the shoulder. What league is my team in? My league is the Midlands Premier League, Sporting Castle Ladies. Agreed, Rodney, and it definitely won't happen now. I agree with that. Griezmann the bottler. I agree with that. I can see him in a Barcelona shirt next season. It depends what Simeone does though, doesn't it? Because he's obviously got a really good relationship with him, and if he stays at Atletico, who knows, he may not move at all. But yeah, who would you guys, if I'm going to throw that question back at you, 2 players, who would you sign? Any 2 players in the summer, who would you bring to United? What 2 players? Me, I'll be one of the players. I'm up for that. Someone mentioned about my injury just as well. I played my first 90 minutes on Sunday. Got through that pretty much pain free, so yeah, it's looking really positive. Thank you for asking. Savic and Dybala. Savic seems to be the one player that everyone is going mad for at the minute. There's a big hype around him. Mahrez and Rose. No one would like that. You know what? Rodney, it's not a bad shout because they're both Premier League proven, so I don't think that's a bad shout at all. A lot of people turn their nose up at Rose, but he's an improvement on what we've got at left back at the moment, isn't he? Jorginho is another one as well whose name's been battered around quite a lot. Savic and Sandro. In terms of left backs, out there really, Sandro's up there, Rosie's up there. Who else really is there to improve on what we've got? I mean, Luke Shaw, arguably one of the best left backs around. However, for one reason or another, he's not cutting it at United, and he's another one I can see out the door. For his own personal sake, he's got to leave United, hasn't he, to improve his career. He's the kind of player I can see at Barcelona or someone like that, because he's such a good reader of the game, got a great left foot, but he's just not quick enough really for the Premier League, is he? He's not built for the Premier League, and I can see him going back abroad. I like Blind, I really do. And when he filled in at left back, you know what, he did a decent job. But Jose obviously doesn't. He's another one who possibly will go in the summer. But for me, like I say, Luke Shaw is one of the best ones out there. He's not given a shot, so Sandro or Rose would be the two that I'd be looking at to replace Shaw at left back. Luke Shaw has to fight. I'm sorry. Yeah, I agree. Luke Shaw does have to fight. I've said before, to me, Luke Shaw doesn't look fit enough. When he gets the ball, whether Jose has told him this, but it doesn't seem as positive anymore going forwards. Seems to always get the ball, turn, pass back. But a lot of our players are doing that. To be honest with you, at the minute, which tells me that Jose is telling players to do that. We look too negative on the ball. Yeah, and you got to say, Luke Shaw, I think he's been slated by Jose far too much. It has knocked his confidence. But United, we need a team of fighters, and someone mentioned there we need players who are going to fight for their place. And it's a very similar situation, isn't it, to Anthony Martial? If you're not going to fight for your place, let's face it, you're not going to get a shot at United. So again, another one who I can see going out the door in the summer. Riley's asked when I'm going to do a Skype call. You know what, I might do a trial next week at some point. I haven't done one yet, Rodney. Maybe you could be my first guest. I would actually love that. But I haven't done a Skype yet. Let me know, guys, would you be interested in me doing a Skype show? Because obviously I've been doing these chats and these these little debates and stuff on my Richard's Ramble, but I haven't done a Skype yet. So let me know if you'd be interested in doing a little calling and having a debate that way, because I'm definitely interested in doing that. Great, positive feedback on that. So tell you what, next week I'll tweet it out at some point and we'll have a trial. We'll have a trial Skype phone in. Do one, you get views. It's only getting on already now. Pereira at Porto, Sandro from Juve, Savic, Griezmann. Someone else is saying Griezmann. I can't see Griezmann coming to United as much as I would love it. As Rodney said earlier, I think that has been and gone now. That ship has sailed. Do you think Mourinho, when wanting to keep playing, he says a lot about the characters we have in our dressing room? Yes. I think we've got a massive lack of character. I said this ages ago when we were playing against Southampton at home and we drew 1-1. And the lack of character we had on that pitch. Mata was the one player who was grabbing the ball out of Southampton players' hands, and you could see him talking to players. And when Mata is the one who looks like our main leader, that's worrying, because Mata is not a leader at all. But we have a serious lack of character. And when Ibra went, I think that was our main character gone. We haven't got anybody who's going to grab players by the scruff of the neck and tell them to stand up and fight. Do you know what I mean? So we definitely need some more. And I agree with what Rodney's just said there. Not enough characters in football, let alone at United. On the United stand not long back, they asked me, so we haven't got enough characters, so who would you sign in terms of characters in the world? And I struggled to answer that question, because who realistically would you describe now in today's modern game? Who is a leader? Who is a natural leader? Who is that kind of character that the game is lacking? Who would you sign in terms of being a leader in the United dressing room now? I struggle to think of any. Savic is the one that's batted around as being maybe a future leader. I think Herrera is another one who is a possible leader. Godin, absolute warrior, I'd agree with that. Ronaldo, yeah, okay, leading by example, scoring goals, but he has a bit of a strop, doesn't he? Yeah, someone just said that. I thought Herrera was going to be the guy, but this year, last season everyone was saying, oh, Ander Herrera is going to be the next captain of United. Watch this space. And then he got injured, yes, and he didn't play. I must admit, since he was in the squad recently, he's come back as his old self and he performed fantastically well. But he hasn't done it this season. Herrera should be given more game time, I think. It frees Pogba up in the middle as well, even more. Paul Pogba, what are your opinions on him? Is he going to stay at United next year? Someone said Lukaku is a leader there. I might thank him. I had a bit of a rant recently after the United game, and I said, you know what, Lukaku does a lot of pointing, but for the sake of pointing. Or he'll do a lot of running, where Sanchez does it as well, where it's kind of making them look busy when it's running for the sake of running, when it's not doing anything, if that makes sense. So I don't actually think Lukaku is a leader. However, out of the characters that we've currently got at the moment, I think Lukaku possibly is one of the biggest characters we have. But for me, he's not a captain. He's not a leader. Not the kind that we need anyway. We need keen sort of player. Pogba too weak. I'd agree with that. I think Pogba. Look, people, when I tweeted the other week about Paul Pogba and saying that for me he was poor. He scored, but I said it hit him. That was kind of a joke. Look, he scored. That was literally all he did all game, and people were raving about him. And I think, you know what, this is Paul Pogba. We paid 89 million for this guy. He's meant to be the next world beater, and for me, he just hasn't done enough. And I still say that now. And people think I'm a Pogba hater. I'm not. I love Paul Pogba. He's probably my favourite player, and I was so excited when he signed for United. But he's taken too many touches in the middle. He's got to do a fancy trick or something elaborate before he passes the ball on. And for me, it's just, I get that, you know what, the movement ahead of him isn't the best. I get that. You can't rely on Pogba defensively because he just doesn't do it. He needs to be given that free role. But for me, he's trying too hard. He's trying the elaborate things. When he got forward against Man City and he scored those 2 goals, that's more of what I want from Paul Pogba. Instead of dropping deep, taking too many touches on the ball, slowing it down, and yeah, he's just annoying me. And he's not good enough on a regular basis. He hit the nail on the head there, Michael. He's not. He'll do the odd good thing in a game. That's it. For 89 million, you want a consistent player. You want a leader. You want somebody who, if you're losing, he's going to grab the game by the scruff of the neck and do something. He doesn't. And that's my disappointment with Paul Pogba. Is Lindelof a flop, or should he get more time? Lindelof, for me, has improved a lot. Against Arsenal, I said he was for me, he was player of the match. I thought he played fantastic against Arsenal. He got Smalling into trouble a few times. He always looked steady at the back. I know it wasn't Arsenal's strongest team, but he was still against Aubameyang up top. And for me, I thought he did a good job. And I think Lindelof just needs more game time. I think he's improved a lot this season. And I can see him in future being a regular centre-back for United. I've heard things about him being a beast abroad, and I think give him time and he will be fantastic for us. World-class players should be doing it week in and week out. That's spot on. Form is temporary, class is permanent, and at the moment, Pogba has had flashes of form. At the start of the season, he was good, but as the season's gone on, for me, he's faded. He hides a lot in games as well, especially when we're struggling, and this is where you want the Paul Pogba to stand up. Yes, he scored 2 against Man City, which was arguably, when people thought, oh, he's the character, he's Paul Pogba, this is the Pogba that we signed, but then the week after, again, he hasn't done it again. And that's the problem. And I know we've been inconsistent as a team at United because the lineup's constantly changing. We haven't found the right system for our team yet. I get all that. But this is an £89 million player who we have got miscontrolling the ball, turning into players, trying to flick over the head when he should be passing the ball simply. So it's just little things like that that for me are annoying me with Pogba at the moment. Lindelof needs to hit the gym. Yeah, he's not the biggest, is he, Lindelof? I'd agree with that. But like I say, give him time. I have no doubts. I think he'll be fine at United. Whether he'll be an out-and-out starter, I do not know. But I think he's improved and he deserves more time. Talk about players in the starting lineup, something about English there. Valencia is our captain, and I saw on Manchester United's Instagram they did a teammates kind of video of Valencia, and it was all in Spanish, and I was like, so this is our captain, and he's struggling to speak English. Yeah, that kind of does highlight a bit of a problem to me. Pogba gave the ball away so many times in the Brighton game, there is no excuse. I agree completely, and that's the thing that's annoying me with him. Rodney, simple passes, or he'll try a wonder pass that ball wasn't even on. There was one time, I remember it clearly, fantastic run from Pogba, powering through the midfield, running on their defence. And to me, it looked like he just booted the ball out. God knows what he was thinking. And again, I was thinking 89 million we've just paid for that guy. And he's literally done a great run and then kicked the ball out. I don't know if you guys remember that, but I was thinking, what on earth is he doing there? Valencia is a good right back. He can't cross the ball to save his life. Valencia frustrates me. For me, Valencia's been decent right back, yes. However, he'll get the ball, he'll drive at a player, and then he'll suddenly stop. And if you've played football, especially if you're the centre forward, as soon as a winger runs and stops, then you have to stop your run and then start your run again. So I can understand why Lukaku gets frustrated a lot of the time. And that seems to be what Valencia does a lot of the time. He'll run at a player, he'll drive, and he's so quick, why he does it I have no idea. He'll stop, and then that just affects the whole movement in the box. Do we need a right back as Valencia is aging? Yes, eventually I do think we need a right back. Valencia, outside of the foot merchant, said there, true, or he'll just try and smash it and hit the first player every single time. I love Valencia, but he's not the same player. We need a replacement. Yes, who would you get at right back though? That is the question I'm going to throw out. We said left backs earlier are quite short. What would you say about a right back? Is there any right backs out there that you think we should sign? Do you want to see Angel Gomez play more? Yes, and Chong I do too. Pereira from Porto is the best choice. Cancelo. Valencia is a Valencia we saw under Louis van Gaal. Yep. Coleman. A good shot. Coleman before his injury was absolutely fantastic, wasn't he? And I would have snapped him up at United. Since his injury, he hasn't really hit that form, but let's wait and see what happens with him, because I think Coleman, Premier League proven, when he was fit, he was absolutely fantastic, and he would have been my #1 choice. But someone said he's too old now, and I don't know if he's hit the form since his injury, to be honest with you. I'm Irish, so I'm biased. Foster Mensah, for me, should be a right back or a holding midfielder, but he needs to prove it, doesn't he? He needs to prove that he can play at right back. Jose needs to give him the minutes. He went out on loan, which I thought was a good move for him, but he was an absolute crap Palace team, playing at centre back. We need to see him more at right back, but he definitely has the attributes to be a good right back, for sure. Where do you see us at the end of next season? I said this before, Jose, for me, needs to win the title next season or he will be gone. What I don't want to see is a gap as big as this season between us and Man City, because for me that gap is far too big. Yes, we're second this year, but I said it before, I think we're lucky to be second. I don't think we look like a team who deserves to be second this season. I think we've been poor, really poor at times. And it's only because of the inconsistency from Liverpool and Tottenham, for me, that we are second. And people will hate that I say that, and they say you're not lucky to be second, but for me we are. But Jose has got to win the league next year. And the style of play, I agree, is not good enough. Teams around us are improving and we seem to be taking a back step, which is worrying, especially with the gap between us and City being so big. I think we need to improve next season. Jose will be a lot longer than people think, says Rodney. I said next season I think he's got to win the league, and then that'll determine whether either he'll walk or he'll stay even longer. I'm not Jose out yet. I think he deserves at least next season. He definitely needs to sign people in the summer, but we shall see. Sophie, I agree, but other teams, as you said, but I disagree, as I think this challenge he won't be sacked. I think with Jose, he's got, obviously if he gets sacked, he's got a massive payout from the club, hasn't he? He's stabilised us. You can't argue that he's stabilised us. He has. But now it's about taking the club forward, and at the moment that isn't happening, which is why I think Jose needs to be given the summer. We need to sign some players, because at the end of the day we're too far behind City at the moment. We're second, yes, but we're way too far. The gap is too big in terms of points and in terms of style of football, in terms of the pace of the play, in terms of doing the basics. Since when do you see us press a team like Man City do, for example? And that's coming from the manager. That you can't argue. That is coming from Jose Mourinho. Maybe he needs the personnel to do that, who knows? But for sure, a big summer and a big season next season for Jose Mourinho. And Ronnie says he thinks he'll be there for a lot longer. Let's wait and see. I think it determines on where we finish and even how we play next season. I'm Jose, but do you think he has lost passion? He doesn't seem too bothered on the sidelines, I will say that for sure. The thing that annoys me with Jose was when he was talking about fans being quiet around Old Trafford, and I'm thinking, you know what, fans paid to come and see something that's going to get them off their seats, and we're not seeing that at Old Trafford at the moment. It's not that fans aren't supporting them, it's just that they need something to get them excited, to make noise, and we don't see anything exciting at United at the minute, really. We don't know how to counter-attack, we're passing sideways far too often, we're passing backwards, we don't attack teams at pace. Did you hear the Brighton fan talking the other day after the United Brighton game and we lost, and he said, you know what, you're boring. We expected Man United to come at us today and we didn't. We were boring, and that's literally sums up us this season. We don't take enough risks on the ball. Now we can blame the players all we want to say lack of effort, like I do. I think players have to take a certain percentage of the blame, for sure they do. But at the same time, stuff should get worked on in the training ground, and we are seeing it week in, week out, which is telling me that on the training ground, something isn't quite right. The game on Sunday will be boring as well, I agree. We should be playing, someone mentioned earlier Chong is rumoured to be in the squad. I really do hope that's true. I can't see it happening, but I would love that to be true, because I think this is the time now where we should be experimenting and playing more youth players, trying to find the right system, because let's face it, Jose this season has not found his starting 11, he's not found his right 11, and he's not found the right system to suit them. And that's pretty embarrassing for a manager like Jose Mourinho. We need to find the best system and what suits those players the best, and that's what he needs to be doing now, really, for me. Obviously pre-season does that as well, but we're guaranteed Champions League football, so why not do it now? Do you think Pogba should stay? Like I said earlier, Paul Pogba, I'm not a Pogba hater, but for me he's slowing down the play too much. He's taking too many touches, he's too over elaborate, and he's not proving his worth at the minute. So if we lost him, you know what, I think we would get over it. I really do. Would I like to see him play and improve because he's got talent? Yes. But if he left, I think we would replace him, to be honest with you. I don't think he's invincible, is my honest opinion on Paul Pogba right now. Rooney did it alright before Christmas, yeah. Pogba's pace, but I think a lack of confidence. I think Pogba's got too much confidence, to be honest with you. I think he's always trying to do too much on the ball. He's always trying to turn or do a fancy flick, do a wonder ball when he doesn't need to a lot of the time. That's my honest opinion on Paul Pogba. Would you let Martial, Rashford and Pogba go if we win the league next season? I already think Martial's gone. I said that earlier. I think Martial has already left now. I think he's already halfway at the door. Rashford I would keep, personally. Pogba I would keep as long as we get the best out of him. Current form at the moment, I don't think he's invincible. So, yeah, that's my honest opinion. If you had to choose between Pogba or Martial leaving, who would you sell? That's a very good question. That's a really tough one. I think it depends on how they're playing on the pitch, really. And age. Martial, like I said earlier, I think he'll leave and he'll be an absolute world beater elsewhere. But at the moment, I think he needs to prove that he's a 90-minute man and not a 20-minute man. He flicks in and out of games when he has been playing. And I think he needs to prove more consistency. I'm sitting on the fence on that one, Rodney. That's a really tough question because I think it depends on how they're playing. I think if you're going on value, I know Martial was 50 million, but 89 million for Pogba is not living up to that. So if I had to choose one, I'd probably say I'd sell Pogba to try and make some money back on him. So I've answered it now, but yeah, so I'd probably say Pogba to go if I had to choose between the two. But do I think that happen? No, I think Martial will go. Right then guys, 3-1 was my prediction for tonight. Let me know what yours is. Drop a comment. Drop a like if you haven't already as well. And please subscribe to my channel, Hairdryer Treatment. I do really appreciate your support. Fingers crossed that we have a good game tonight. Fingers crossed that, you know what, Chong is in the squad and he does get some minutes, so I'd absolutely love that. Thank you all for tuning in. I really do appreciate your support. So yeah, have a lovely evening. Take care all. Thanks again. Have a good one. Thank you.